Hey guys, welcome to the Rocket Hideout, and today I'm actually super excited to be making this type of video. Today I'm going to tell you guys my top 10 favorite Pokemon. This is my personal opinion, but if you like the video or dislike it, feel free to tell me what you think of it in the comments down below, and also tell me your top 10. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. Number 10. So for number 10 on the list would have to be Quagsire. For me, the first time I saw Quagsire was amazing. I remember watching the Latios and Latias movie and seeing Whoopers and Quagsires in the canals, and a couple episodes where Quagsire makes an appearance in the anime. Plus, seeing this Pokemon makes me like super happy, because it always has like a happy face. Quagsire is a water and ground type, so for me, it was like a Gen 2 Mudkip. At the time, I didn't like Mudkip because my brother chose him and we had a rivalry, so to feel like I wasn't copying my brother, I got Quagsire back in Gold, Silver, and Crystal games, and the Heart Gold, Soul Silver games as well. The first time I ever got a hold of a Quagsire was in Pokemon Coliseum, and you know for sure I had one in XD Gale of Darkness, which is pretty sick. In Sun and Moon, I was able to get a shiny, which I've never had before, and it's pink too. And competitive-wise, Quagsire can really go into any tier, which I think is super funny. Like, who knew this new amphibious Pokemon can go anywhere, and viable too? I love the design, and seeing the smile on its face reminds me that I should be happier, even though I'm always sad and stuff. It's something that, I don't know, I just really like. Wooper is cool too, and it just fits my style since it's so, like, carefree. Number 9. On to number 9, Delcatty. I don't like cats much, but my love for this Pokemon came from Coliseum mostly. Also hunting Skitties and Old Emeralds, and Oras and Sun and Moon as well. The shiny version is pink, which I think is pretty sick too. I can also use Fake Out, and I just really love it. Its design is pretty gnarly. It's a huge ass cat. Like, who really doesn't want that? Its normal sprite is purple, so between pink and purple, you have a really good like color palette that isn't too bright or too dark. I didn't see a lot of appearances from it in the anime besides the episode A Date with Delcatty, and besides in movies in the background, or Skitty, which was captured by me in the anime, I didn't see it much. From Coliseum, I had it everywhere with me, and also the overworld sprite for it is also pretty cool in the game too. You can find an old man at Mount Battle that's chilling like right in front of the installation with his Delcatty out if you wanted to see how big like Delcatty looks compared to like a person. When Gen 3 came out for Pokemon Go, you know I had to go and find me some Skitties and evolve them into Delcatties. Number 8. So on to number 8. The best, the strongest, the coolest Pokemon in the entire world, Ludicolo. The first time I ever saw Ludicolo was when I was fighting Mirror Bee in the underground caves of Pirate Town. He had about 5 of them with the Shadow Sudowoodo, but let me tell you, they were pretty cool looking. Pokemon Coliseum was one of my first Pokemon games, and seeing a Ludicolo for the first time was just mesmerizing. I love how they dance, the way they sound, the way they look, and I love the typing. I recently trained up 6 Ludicolos for my brother, which I found super hilarious because now he can fight with them, especially against me in 1v1s, you know, in doubles matches obviously. I love this Pokemon more than Delcatty and Quagsire for sure. When I first got Emerald, I was super stoked to find out that I can get a Lotad and evolve it as I trained it. I ended up beating the Elite Four and also all 100 trainers for Mount Battle with Ludicolo on my team. As for the anime, I remember Brock having a Lombre that evolved into a Ludicolo in the episode once in a Mawile, and that's as much as I can remember for, you know, notable anime appearances for me at least. Ludicolo for me looks kind of like a duck that dances a lot, and I just kind of vibe with it. All its previous evolutions like Lotad and Lombre are just really wavy and aesthetic looking as well. Like, out of all the Pokemon on this list, I wish I could have trained up more Ludicolos and given them out, you know, in the Wonder Trades. I think everyone should have one. As for the competitive scene, Ludicolo ranks in PU. Ludicolo is also a premier Rain Sweeper in doubles, which is what I use him in mostly since I'm a VGC/doubles player. Ludicolo can also use moves like Fake Out, which I love on it as well. I tend to have a lot of Pokemon that uses Fake Out on my team, and it just fits my style, kind of like Delcatty. But yeah, on to the next mon on the list, dude. Number 7. Number 7 is a Gen 7 Pokemon. No pun intended. But number 7 on the list is taken by Salandit. When I first saw Salandit, I was so freaking stoked to see it. A poison and a fire type salamander that can hit steel types. Like, dude, like, sign me up. I love poison type. and I love fire types, so it's no surprise that I have this mon on my list and on my team. If I had to choose between Salandit or Salazzle, I choose Salandit because I love its small design, it's cool looking too, and it's kind of like wavy, you know, for aesthetics reasons. Another reason why I like it is because Team Skull used them a lot, and I like that evil team right next to Team Rocket and Team Magma, mostly because, you know, like they rap and stuff like that, and they kind of like thugga, you know? As for the anime, I've seen it in a couple of episodes here and there in the Sun and Moon anime by Team Skull Grunts, and in the game I used it a lot in my early playthroughs. It's fairly weak and frail, so if you're going up against big bonds like T-Tar or even Lando, you're going to be struggling a bit, so I think it should be used in the Little Cup. I think Salandit is so overlooked. It has its main stab, Sludge Bomb, and access to Nasty Plot, and being able to OHKO any mon after Stealth Rocks, you know, with its Poisonium Z, is pretty sick. It's like my little man is growing up, you know? But other than that, I'll always have one either chilling in my box or chilling in my party. It's one of those mons that I don't want to traverse new games without it, you know?
Number 6. Oh snap, so for number 6 is my first starters I've ever had in a Pokemon game. Whether it's a mainline game or a spin-off, I can't deny that they were my first starters. I decided to add both of them since I started off with both and I can't decide between one or the other. But for number 6, it's Espeon and Umbreon. As you guys already know, my first Pokemon games were Pokemon Coliseum, not counting Stadium 1 and 2 and not counting Fire Red, which I got years after its release back in 2003-2004. So let's start off with Umbreon first and then Espeon. So for Umbreon, its sleek dark design, followed by it being a mono dark type, made a pretty cool mon back in Generation 2, followed up by being one of Eevee's final forms. In order to get one in any games besides the Stadium games, you have to max out its friendship and evolve it in the night. As for Coliseum, you start out with it automatically. And in Exegil Darkness, you can get a special stone that you can use on Eevee at Gadiant Port. I can't remember if it's a sailor or a trainer, but they give you the option to evolve Eevee into any of the current 5 forms of Gen 3, since the game came out before Generation 4, meaning that you can evolve Eevee into a Leafeon, Glaceon, or Sylveon. Umbreon was shown in an anime a couple times back in Johto Adventures, and also in the Black and White series, I believe, as well. Umbreon is a fan favorite based on how much love he gets, besides Sylveon and Espeon, since it's one of the evolutions. The fact that Umbreon's rings glow is pretty cool as well, since you can kind of use it like a flashlight. And I've noticed that a lot of edgy characters use it too, like West from Coliseum, Gladion from Sun and Moon, and also Michael from Exegil Darkness, depending on what kind of Eevee you choose. As for competitive use, Umbreon is in the RU tier as a cleric, which is pretty interesting. It has some bulky defense and special defense and can take a hit. Umbreon has also been known to be in the UU tier as well, but with a niche set. Me personally, I use Umbreon alongside Espeon in doubles or partnered up with any other mons that I think would be good to pair it with, but with a different set versus its standard cleric set that it's mostly known for in both the RU and the UU tier since it's a premier cleric. Now for Espeon. No joke, this is a long number 6, but now to the other half of number 6, Espeon. Espeon is so freaking sick. It's a mono psychic evolution, and it's a pretty strong one too. As for the anime, I've only seen Espeon in the Latios movie, which would be Pokemon 5, and one of the villains, Annie, happened to have one as well, you know, alongside an Arya does. Also, we know in the Pokemon Adventures manga, Red also evolved his Eevee into an Espeon named V. West and Coliseum also had an Espeon, which has been with him since he's been in Team Snag'em. So you can already see that these trainers really like Espeon enough to have them on their team, and pretty notable trainers too. You have Annie, a Team Rocket Spire that works for Giovanni, West, and Red. On top of that, lore-wise, I think it would take a very skilled trainer to evolve Eevee into Umbreon or even Espeon, or in West's case, both. In competitive play, Espeon ranks in the RU tier as well. With access to Calm Mind, it could become a potential wall breaker for most teams and threaten to sweep. Espeon also has a Magic Bounce, which is good for rocks and other entry hazards that you're trying to stop. It's pretty nice. Overall, its design and its lore made it hard to choose between it and Umbreon, so I added it both for my number 6. Number 5. For number 5, I actually have a Gen 1 classic, and it's Weezing! I know a lot of people who've seen the anime probably seen Weezing a lot since James from Team Rocket had a coughing and evolved it into a Weezing later on in the series. I I love Weezing so much more than all the previous 5 Pokemon on the list. He's by far one of my favorite poison types, and he also has this grimy, smoky aesthetic to it that makes him look a lot more edgy than what he normally is. I love the shiny and the non-shiny versions of this mon because its main body and smoke changes to really distinctive color differences that you can tell in a shiny, but without it being an ugly color palette like Espeon Shiny where it's just green and ugly. I can see why Team Rocket would use Pokemon like Weezing in the game and in the show. It has smokescreen and can poison people. It's perfect for doing crook-like jobs, you know. As for battling, fighting with Weezing is so freaking satisfying. It has Poison Gas, which lets you poison 2 Pokemon at the same time for doubles, and the ability to levitate, and access to Sludge Bomb and Flamethrower, and Will-O-Wisp and Toxic to dwindle down opponents and put them on timers. Like Golem and Voltorb, Weezing has Explosion and Self-Destruct, which is really nice to KO any weaker mons around it in the enemy tier. Overall, Weezing is just dope and deserves to have a spot on this list for sure. Number 4. Number 4 is also from Gen 1, but unlike Weezing, it got access to a lot cooler things. And to take the number 4 spot, it's Muk. With Sun and Moon being released, we got to see some cool form variants, including Muk's Alolan form, which I don't let go. I have one on my main team, and I love the overall aesthetic of the Pokemon too. Its normal form, a poison type, and its Alolan form, being poison and dark type, make this Pokemon pretty cool. I also love its pre-evolution Grimer, which is just sludge that was formed at the bottom of the ocean or at power plants if you watch the anime. In the anime, Ash also caught a Muk, which was messing around with its goons of Grimers blocking water flow going through the city that Ash was in. On top of that, they cut electricity to the town, which is pretty devastating, so Ash took care of that surprisingly. As for the competitive scene, Muk is in the PU tier as a bulky special sweeper, and is very niche while the Alolan form resides in the underused tier. I love the shiny version a lot, and overall, Muk is just badass. Who wouldn't want this spawn on their team? I normally have Explosion on my Muk to get rid of any annoying mons when battling before Muk faints in battle, which is in itself pretty troll, but I love it. Number 3. Number 3 is one of the coolest bug types I've ever played with, Scizor. At first I didn't like Scizor because it was a bug type, but after playing with it for a while, I ended up really loving the spawn. I love its color palettes, and the fact that it's pretty devastating in battle now that it ended up getting a Mega form, which in my opinion is one of the coolest Megas I've ever seen. It honestly looks like it can crush anything with its pincers. It's a bug and steel type, so it's times 4 to fire, but hey, it's fine. It can destroy anything that's not tanky, and it can also sweep if you don't stop it in time. Tier, while its Mega sits in the overused tier, he's pretty bulky on top of its speed and high attack. It's one of those mons that you want to have on your team, and it makes sense why. We see it on cool trainers in the anime and the movies too. The first time I've ever seen Scizor on the big screen was in Pokemon Forever, where the main villain had a Scizor alongside a Weavile, and I used them both to fight Ash and a young Professor Oak. When we see it, it just flashes by, and its hard hitting is sick. Its whole aesthetic and design screams edgy Ace Train. I love its main color palette with enough bright colors on its wings and pincers to make its base red coat pop out. It's fun to play with in-game, competitively, and aesthetically. Number 2. Number 2 on this list is so underrated, and everyone hates it for some reason. Number 2 is Vanilluxe from Generation 5. When I first saw it, I hated it too, but after playing with one in Sun and Moon, I had it on my team everywhere. It's sick, I love its ice moves, and it looks cool to see it in a game. It's like a floating ice cream cone in the shape of a mountain or a floating glacier. It can help make ice cream or slushies too. You literally have infinite ice cream and snow. No lie, it's really cool aesthetic looking Pokemon. I haven't seen the black and white anime, so I don't know if they had an appearance in it or not, but I'm pretty sure it had an appearance somewhere since it's one of those new Pokemon at the time. The reason why I love Vanilluxe, even though I haven't seen it in the anime, is because I love its snowy day aesthetic, its abilities, and its whole aesthetic and color palette. Vanilluxe is blue with white snow covering it with a straw at the end made out of ice. Both heads work, and the straw spews ice everywhere. That's why it has the ability Snow Warning. The straw is also made out of ice and is attached to one of the heads. It's like a horn that makes snow to cover its furrow body. But if you have it out on a hot day, the snow will melt, which kinda sucks boo. But yeah, that's why it has snow warning, to make hail and snow, and also to make and protect its main body with snow as kind of like armor. When it faints, its snow also melts. Pretty gnarly. Competitively, Vanilluxe lives in the never-used borderline, just floating in limbo. It may not be aight in singles, but it has potential in doubles. Back in VGC 2017, it was one of the best hill setters at the time, and there were two, Vanilluxe and Ninetales, I believe. Both with different niches in the metagame. It's pretty frail since it's weak to rock type moves and fire, so keeping it alive was a struggle. But still deserves a spot on the list because I used it in so many battles on the ladder and against my cousins and brothers. I spent so much time into Vanilluxe and running with it and training that it just kinda stuck with it. It's mad corny, but I'm not tripping hella. You can expect to see Vanilluxe on my team when Sword and Shield comes out, if Pokebank works, that is, and that's why Vanilluxe takes the second spot on the list. And now on to number 1. Number 1. Haha, oh boy, my main man Stan, my first favorite Pokemon in the entire game and in the entire world.
That's right! So, you wanna fight fire with fire, huh?
When I first saw Incineroar, to be honest, I hated it. I wanted to start off with Rowlet and Sun and Moon, but my brother called dibs, so I chose Litten as my next best option because Popplio looked kinda new. When we were on a road trip, and before we started, I went to GameStop, bought a 2DS, Sun and Moon, and the Pokemon gang, with case and everything. My parents were so pissed because it was like 200 something, blown away in like a couple of minutes. I think I copped my check that day too, I don't know. Well anyways, we started the games at the same time and progressed through the games slowly. It's been a while since we played a new Pokemon game. Me and my brother come from generation 2 to 3. As I saw Litten evolve into Torracat, I felt super happy, to be honest. I really liked that middle stage Evo, and the aesthetics was perfect. Hot summer road trip, heading to a new place, playing a new Pokemon game, with Pokemon you've never seen before, fighting against your brother. And as we put in more hours day and night, the Torracat evolved into an Incineroar. The Decidueye still looked cooler, but I'll take Incineroar any day now. But I felt having a Lion Wrestler that's on fire with an exclusive Z move is just so hard to pass up. I used Incineroar against everyone I could fight with, especially now that its ability changed from Blaze to Intimidate. So now he's even better in doubles, which is what I play 24/7. Incineroar chills in the NU tier and has some decent bulk due to his dark typing, with it being a fire type, so it's so freaking good. It's like what Houndoom wanted to be, but couldn't. So far, I know 2 sets people run, Power Trip set with Flame Charge, and a tankier pivoting set with U-Turn and Flare Blitz, which is pretty good. I like running a tankier Incineroar in doubles to be annoying, and just fight all the time. I like fast, hard-hitting gameplay, and Incineroar gives me all that and more. Besides Pokemon, my main fighter in Smash is Incineroar, and let me tell you, I've never had so much fun. You literally side B for the win now. In Smash, he plays like a wrestler. He's a mid-heavyweight that does damage, but if you get grabbed, he pretty much dunzos. He's a pretty toxic character, and that's why I love playing him in Smash. When playing Smash, I add more to my love with this Pokemon, and he just holds the #1 spot on this list. And that's it, guys. That is my number 10. If you liked the video, or have different opinions, go down to the comments down below, and tell me your opinion on this video, and if you liked it or not. Give a thumbs up, or a thumbs down if you liked the video. Expect more Pokemon content and other types of content on this channel.